March the 2nd. Circle that date, set a reminder, do whatever you need to do. Because Apple is lining up one of its most important launch weeks in years, and almost nobody is talking about it the way they should. Tim Cook has already teased a big week ahead, and the latest leaks are painting a very different kind of Apple launch. No flashy keynote stage, no 2-hour live stream. Instead, this looks like a carefully engineered, low-noise, high-impact rollout designed to dominate the tech news cycle without ever calling it a traditional Apple event. So in this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know about Apple's rumored March 2nd launch, the new iPhone 17e, the budget-friendly MacBook under $1,000, the powerful new M5 MacBook Pro models, and even updates to the Mac Studio and Studio Display. If you're interested in Apple Leaks, the March Apple event, or you're just waiting to buy your next iPhone or Mac, watch this till the end so you know exactly what to expect. Let's start with the timeline. According to multiple reports, Apple's announcements won't be crammed into a single day. Instead, they're expected to roll out from March 2nd through March 4th, 3 days, 3 waves of news. And here's where it gets interesting. Instead of a single global keynote, Apple is rumored to be planning special hands-on experiences in 3 major cities: London, New York, and Shanghai. That alone tells us a lot. This is not the typical Apple event March livestream, where the world stops to watch Tim Cook on stage. This is a controlled media campaign, invite-only hands-on sessions, carefully timed embargoes, influencers, tech journalists and creators all posting their first impressions at different times in different regions. Why do that? Because Apple is playing attention economics like a pro. One giant keynote gives you one massive spike in coverage, and then the hype starts to fade. But 3 days of separate announcements and hands-on reactions? That gives Apple multiple trending moments. Instead of a single burst of attention, they own the entire week. Every product gets its own headlines on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and every major tech website. And when you realize Samsung's new S26 Ultra just launched, the strategy starts to make even more sense. Apple doesn't just want to respond, they want to completely shift the conversation. Instead of everyone talking only about the Galaxy S26 Ultra, they want the narrative to move to Apple's new budget iPhone, Apple's new cheap MacBook, Apple's M5 Pro MacBook Pro, and Apple's March event products. So, what exactly is coming? Let's break down the lineup, starting with the phone that could quietly become Apple's most important release for mainstream buyers, the iPhone 17e. This is the iPhone that's expected to target that sweet spot of affordable premium. Not ultra-budget, not ultra-flagship, right in the middle. Think $500 to $600 price range, which in the US is exactly where a massive chunk of buyers are looking. Design-wise, don't expect something radically new on the outside. The leaked details suggest the iPhone 17e will stick to a familiar look, but that's not where the real story is. The exciting part is on the inside. Reports point to a new C1X modem, and this could be a game-changer for everyday users. Stronger, more stable 5G performance across major US carriers, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, means better speeds, more reliable connections, and less frustration in crowded areas. It's the kind of upgrade you actually feel day to day, even if the phone doesn't look drastically different on the outside. But here's the headline feature that could push a lot of people to upgrade. The iPhone 17e is rumored to finally get the dynamic island. That's right. The same dynamic island that Apple introduced on the main iPhone lineup is expected to come to this more affordable model. No more old-school notch on the budget iPhone. You get that modern, premium-looking front design that Apple has been pushing as the future of iPhone UI. That one change alone makes the 17e feel far less like a compromise and far more like a true member of the current iPhone family. And it doesn't stop there. MagSafe support is also expected to arrive on the iPhone 17e. This is huge. MagSafe accessories have basically become their own ecosystem. Magnetic chargers, stands, wallets, battery packs, car mounts, you name it. Until now, skipping MagSafe has been one of the key trade-offs with the lower-cost models. If Apple finally adds it here, it removes one of the last major reasons people avoid the more affordable line. Combine MagSafe, Dynamic Island, and a stronger 5G modem, and suddenly this isn't just the cheap iPhone. This is a seriously capable modern iPhone for regular buyers who don't care about having the absolute top-of-the-line Pro features. If the price lands in that $500 to $600 zone like leaks suggest, the iPhone 17e could absolutely dominate the affordable premium smartphone market, not just in the US, but globally. For people comparing the S26 mid-range Android phones and older iPhones, this becomes a very attractive option. But ironically, the iPhone might not be the biggest disruption of this March Apple launch. The real shocker could be something Apple hasn't done in years. A brand new MacBook under $1,000. Let that sink in for a second. Not a clearance model. Not a Black Friday deal. Not an older MacBook Air with a temporary price cut. The leaks suggest Apple is working on a completely new, intentionally low-cost MacBook designed from the ground up to hit that sub-$1,000 price point. And here's the twist that has everyone talking. Instead of using an M-series chip like the M2 or M3, this new low-cost MacBook is rumored to run on the A18 Pro chip, the same processor expected to power the iPhone 16 Pro models. That's bold, and it's very Apple. Think about what Apple did with its silicon in the first place. They proved that mobile-first, ultra-efficient chips could beat traditional laptop processors in performance per watt and battery life. Now imagine Apple doubling down on that concept by putting an iPhone-class A18 Pro chip into a slim, fanless, entry-level MacBook. What does that give you? Ridiculously good battery life. Whisper-quiet performance. Enough power for everything that 90% of users actually do. Browsing, streaming, video calls, office work, coding, light photo and video editing, social media, and content consumption. It's not about beating the M5 Max in benchmarks, it's about delivering a smooth, premium Mac experience at a price that finally makes sense for students and first-time Mac buyers. The display is rumored to be slightly under 13 inches, smaller, more portable, and easier to throw into a backpack. That screams student laptop, travel laptop, and creator on a budget laptop. For someone choosing between a mid-range Windows notebook and their first Mac, a sub-$1,000 MacBook with Apple's ecosystem, battery life, and build, quality suddenly becomes a very real option. This single product could massively grow the Mac user base. Once you're in Apple's ecosystem with a Mac, you're far more likely to buy an iPhone, AirPods, maybe an iPad, and subscribe to services like iCloud, Apple Music, and Apple TV+. That's why this rumored low-cost MacBook is such a strategic move. It's not just about hardware, it's about ecosystem expansion. But for power users and creative professionals, Apple has something else lined up. New MacBook Pro models powered by the M5 Pro and M5 Max chips. If the pattern holds, these next-gen chips will push performance even further for pro workflows, 4K and 8K video editing, 3D rendering, advanced music production, Xcode development, and high-end design. Expect improvements in CPU and GPU performance, better efficiency, and maybe even more powerful AI and machine learning capabilities built directly into Apple Silicon. For people who rely on Final Cut Pro, Logic Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Adobe Creative, Cloud, and similar tools, the M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pros could be the machines that justify upgrading from older Intel models or even from early M1 and M2 systems. On top of that, there's growing speculation about an updated Mac Studio and a refreshed Studio display to match. That would complete the story. From entry-level users all the way up to Pro Studio setups, the entire Mac lineup gets an injection of fresh Apple Silicon and renewed attention, all within this single, carefully orchestrated March launch week. So, step back and look at the full picture. On one end, you have a stronger budget iPhone, the iPhone 17e, bringing premium features like Dynamic Island and MagSafe to a much more affordable price range. In the middle, you have a brand new MacBook under $1,000 built around the A18 Pro chip, opening the door for students, creators, and first-time Mac users who could never justify spending more. And at the high end, you have M5 Pro and M5 Max MacBook Pros, a potential Mac Studio refresh, and a likely Studio display update for creators and professionals. And all of this is spread across multiple days, from March 2nd to March 4th, with hands-on events in London, New York, and Shanghai, and a steady drip of coverage instead of one explosive keynote. That's not random. That's Apple using strategy, timing, and media control to expand its grip on every part of the market, from entry-level buyers to hardcore pros, while also stealing attention from competitors like the recently launched S26 Ultra. If these leaks and rumors play out the way they're expected to, March 2nd won't just be another Apple refresh, it will be a strategic lineup reset, a rebalancing of the iPhone and Mac families that makes Apple more accessible at the low end and more powerful than ever at the high end.